Okay, Mom, you're on.
Oh boy.
So,
Yeah.
the last time I was here, you told me that your father was he was a German, but he came to America and became a citizen, right?
That's right.
And then he went back to Germany.
Right.
And the Germans all told him he couldn't have work because if he wanted to be an American citizen, go
You
find work
go
there.
Right.
So why did he leave Germany and become a citizen in the first place?
Well, because after the First World War, the country was broke. There was no work. There was nothing. It was ruined.
Right.
People were standing in bread lines for little or no food.
So
there was nothing.
Now was he your father, or was he married to Oma then, or not? When he first came here,
They were married.
they were married. Did they both come?
Yeah, they came together.
And
Yeah.
then you were born here.
Yeah, I was born in Chicago.
Okay, so they were
Yeah.
Germans. It was really bad in Germany at that time, so they
Yeah.
came here, and you were born here.
I was born in Chicago.
So then, when you and Oma and your dad went back to Germany,
yeah.
that was when all the stuff with the work happened.
Yeah.
Now, why did he leave here? Why did you guys leave here?
He didn't do well. He thought that the carpenter union was run by criminals.
Which is a possibility in those days.
Yeah, 'cause
Possibility any day. Yeah.
they would come around and expect you to pay them off, like bribery.
Immigrants at that time got exploited a lot here, so that's
Yeah,
probably
and
likely true. Yeah.
Yeah, and they felt, well, you're working for nothing. Because they came and said, you got to pay the dues.
Yeah.
Dues for nothing.
Yeah, that's.
And they kind of pointed a gun toward you.
Did they really point guns at him? Your dad saw that happen?
And then he became a janitor. He called himself a janitor, and same thing. It was run by a mob.
Really?
The janitor union. So they thought they didn't belong here. They thought maybe we just made a mistake. We just don't fit in here.
If you're gonna have trouble
should
finding
stay
work, you
home.
should do it in a place where you speak the language, right? It's a
Yeah.
home, yeah.
The language was she learned the language faster than he did. He was very slow to learn the language.
That's rough on you too here.
Yeah.
In a
So
place where you can't
that's
talk
a
to
barrier, when you're in a group of people and you can't say what you're thinking.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it makes your life hard.
Yeah. Anyway, so they went back home. And it was no better there.
So they were gonna stay there anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to stay there.
They were just home for good in Germany, and that's when World War II happened. And
Yeah.
at some point, they decided, we got to get out of here again.
Again, yeah.
So your dad went.
Yeah, he
came
went.
here and worked and sent money home, right?
Yeah, saved money. My mother went to work. She worked in a fish factory.
So what did your dad do when he was here while you guys were still in Germany? Do you remember? What did he do here?
He worked as a carpenter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long was he here before you guys were here?
A year, over a year, a little over a year.
Were you glad to leave? Or were
Well,
you?
when you're a kid, you just tag along with your folks.
Right.
You don't know what's going on. You just go. But when it came time for my mother and me to leave, we met with another obstacle. They had full-fledged war going. And we would have gotten on a ocean liner and gone through the English Channel and crossed the Atlantic. All passenger liners were banned from the English Channel because they had mined it. And, if you bumped into it, your mine blew you up. So you couldn't go through there anymore.
Were you guys on the ship when you found that out, or you
No,
couldn't
we
leave
knew
because
that.
of that?
That was made plain to you. You aren't traveling through the English Channel. It's closed to you.
Okay, so when you guys left, that was not the route you could take
No,
because that place there was a war there.
right.
Okay.
We had to forget that. So we got to get out of here another way. So that's when we had to go to Sweden. That strip of water between Germany and Sweden, Norway, Finland, that's the Baltic Sea.
So what made you able to leave that place? Where were they going to?
Who?
Where did you go to?
We went to Sweden.
Yeah. When you went to Sweden, how did they tell you they could get you to the United States?
Well, we got to Sweden, went to Göteborg, it's called. That's where the ship was. Had to wait there for 3 days.
What was the name of the place again?
Göteborg.
Okay, so you went to the ship there.
Yeah, so we had to stay there for 3 days, and they painted the ship on both sides, front and back, with the Swedish flag, so they would be able to cross the ocean undisturbed. Sweden was neutral. They did not enter the war.
Oh, so you were going to leave on German boats.
Yeah.
German boats couldn't go anyplace because they were involved in the war.
Well, that was dangerous, you know.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now I get it. So
Yeah.
since Sweden was neutral, you had to
Neutral,
go through them
yeah.
and get on one of their neutral boats to leave. So
Yeah.
leaving was an obstacle. You guys were trapped by your government
Yeah,
being in a war.
and that boat there, it was called the Kungsholm, the ship. That boat was, like I said, painted front and back, big lights up the mast with the big Swedish flag. Boat was full of Jews. They were leaving, those who could afford to. That's how it was.
So when you were leaving Germany with your parents, what was going on like in the neighborhoods and stuff?
Well, the Jews were being rooted up out of their homes and disappeared. My mother had a friend across the street. She was Jewish. One morning we got up, they were gone. They ran a little shop. She sold plants and flowers, and in the back of the place was a shoe repair. He fixed shoes. They were Jews. One day they were gone.
So not being a Nazi, just being a family that grew up in Germany, these were people you knew from a long time. They were just your friends, right?
Yeah, we didn't.
You didn't think they were Jews, right?
Jews or Greek or German or what?
So all of a sudden you just saw your neighbors being snatched up and taken away.
Yeah.
And then your parents knew that.
Well, we
that's
knew
a sign.
because they were Jews, you know.
Yeah, but you actually saw it happen and they just were
Yeah,
gone.
well, what are you going to do? You know, it's awful. To
Yeah.
us, they were just people.
And in the morning, the Schwartzes are gone.
Yeah?
Wow. So you guys jumped on the boat, came here. You landed in New York, you said, at the World's Fair.
Yeah. And I don't know how my father got to go to Baltimore. He got to go to Baltimore, which isn't too far from New York. And he got a job, and we went to Baltimore. And I stayed there, went to school there. Went to high school. I was the first one, I think, in the whole family that ever went to past the 8th grade.
In your family?
I don't think my folks went past the 8th grade. My mother didn't. My father served an apprenticeship as a carpenter. 4 years as an apprentice, 2 years as a journeyman.
Right.
And that meant you had to pack your bag and go work. Just go. You didn't have a home. You just went to countryside and you worked as a journeyman. 2 years of that. You had to sustain yourself.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And then after 2 years of that, you got the grand title of master carpenter.
So how old was your mom, like when your parents, when World War I happened?
Well, my mother was born in 1902. World
So
War
she was
One
like
happened
a teenager.
in 1914. She's just a little girl.
So your mom's life was affected by World War One.
Right, and so much.
She grew up in Germany that was poor, probably, didn't she?
Yeah.
Did Germany stay poor a long time? Well, yes, stayed poor from the end of World War One through when World War II happened, right?
That's right.
So that's like 15 years or
Yeah.
more, right?
Yeah, desperate people. Yeah.
So that country she grew up as a teenager in a country with just no government,
No.
fighting, starvation.
Right?
So 8th grade was Probably
That
good.
was as far as you could go. Then you had to go to work. Well, manual labor, the people did a lot more manual labor than now. We got a lot of machines.
Right.
Now, so she went to work at, I don't know how she came to Germany, but she went to work in a factory where they made thread, yarn, thin ropes. That's how she split her thumb.
Yeah, she had that thumb shaped like a heart.
Yeah, she used to call it her behind finger. To her, it looked like an ass.
It did.
And she hated it because the needle would get stuck in there, and they did a lot of sewing,
Right.
and it would get stuck in there, and the thread would get in there.
Was that from an injury or was that from just repetitive working?
It was an injury. She slit it, and it never, they didn't grow it together right.
You didn't go get it stitched back then probably as easily either.
Yeah.
Right? So it just, hey, I remember that thumb.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was mad at that thumb her whole life. So that's how they lived. I mean, there was no luxuries or anything. Never. always just trying to squeak by.
So it was just lucky that they could make it here the second time because they had been here and it wasn't good. They got forced out, so they probably really weren't real thrilled about having to come back here.
No?
It looked like a way out of the war, yeah, but
Yeah.
they'd already not they'd already not done well here once.
I know.
Yeah. That had to be rough.
I know.
You leave your country just
Yeah.
forced out. You don't have a choice. Well, you do, but the choice is
Yeah.
very bad.
Well, then there's a lot of paperwork involved, When my mother wanted to leave, they lost the paperwork. I can remember her being disgusted and frustrated because she'd go after certain papers and they weren't ready and things like that. And it was very disgusting.
So it was,
Yeah.
getting out was difficult.
Yeah.
And labored and technical and everything else too. So there's a lot of anxiety
Always
built
like a
in with
roadblock, a hindrance to curtail what you were trying to do. It was, I remember it was awful, never nice. What are you gonna do? But Germany, minus the war, it's great.
that.
It's
It was
pretty,
great for you guys,
yeah,
right?
It's pretty over there. And the people, they all, all countries have their way about them. I mean, they sing and dance and have a wonderful time.
So they just got taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Their lives were ruined in a lot of ways, just like the people that they went after.
Yeah.
Because they involved them in a war that just
Sure.
robbed them of their future.
Well, I
Or
think
a lot of it.
I think you kind of take sides in wars and political affairs according to where you were born.
Right.
Because I think we're all of us brainwashed. All of us.
Where you come from
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
affects everything you think from when you're growing
Yeah.
up, right? But you see
Yeah.
a lot of things differently than other people.
Yeah.
And you don't realize in what ways those...
From somewhere else, you're viewed differently
Yeah.
than you view yourself. I remember as a little kid in Germany, when they found out that I came from here, from America, oh, they looked at me, they thought I should be an Indian. They said, oh, do you live in a house? Do you live in a tent? So that was their view of me. And I was stunned. Why would you think I live in a tent? So, no, we live in a house. But, they
So-
viewed us from the other side of the pond, as they call it.
And those are normal
Yeah.
people, educated, polite to each other and all that kind of stuff, but that's what they hear about you.
Yeah.
And from all they see,
Yeah.
that's it. Really.
Yeah.
So you were an American. They thought you were going to be like an Indian, like a Native American.
Yeah, and the kids wondered, did I live in a house? Did they have a street? Or Do we walk on the grass or what?
That's funny.
No, and I was stunned. I thought, oh my God.
That's funny. All right, well, I'm going to clean some here, and I'm going to turn this video thing off. I've showed this I put it on Facebook on the family page.
Oh.
Everyone likes seeing it.